My name's Sophia Abdi Noor. I'm the Member of Parliament for Ijara Constituency, and I come from Garissa County, and I'm from pastoralist community, and I have been a teacher. Then I went and joined the non-governmental organizations. I had worked with UNICEF, MSF Spain, and KANU International as a joint partnership with them. From there, I started a non-governmental organization called Womankind Kenya. Womankind Kenya is a non-governmental organization that heavily invested in educating the girl child. When I started as a teacher, and I was posted to my first school, the school I was posted with enrollment of 2,000 plus students, we had only 5 girls in that school. So you can see the situation was really wanting, and it was very bad. So my campaign and my advocacy work and my lobbying work started with the girl child education. And I had to mobilize resources, communities, and it was very difficult and uphill task in carrying out the advocacy work, because the community did not believe in secular education, and they saw it as a foreign education that could influence the girl in the negative way. So it was really very difficult, and I had to mobilize women. Few of us who went to school then. And my father was a policeman. That's why I was lucky to have been given the opportunity to go to school, and few others and sisters of mine who had also equally gotten the opportunity because of one or the other. So we were able now to join hands together as women from the region. Some of them were animal health doctors. I had nurses and fellow other teachers. So we formed a group, a lobby group, who went around to carry and educate the community. And so as we were doing our activities, we found female genital mutilation becoming a very disastrous, and it was a killer. And we felt it was high time that we talk about female genital mutilation. That also gave us a very big setback, because including my mother did not believe in what I was talking about. Including other women and my age mates did not believe, and they felt that we were crossing the boundaries, the traditional boundaries that existed for a woman. And that gave me really a problem, and we had to struggle. It was an uphill task, but lucky enough, we were able to get the religious leaders, particularly those who are educated in the Islamic Sharia, and who knew that female genital mutilation as is being practiced by the Somali community was not the right way, and it was a very, you know, the woman could be circumcised, and it was, we have seen many young girls lost their life. We have seen young girls who lost their lives because they were closed up and they could not even, we have seen women who could not deliver because of female genital mutilation. So after that, and I was able now to join the national arena, and I was recognized at the national level, and I became a member of the board of the National NGO board member. That way I got a lot of other networks and connections, and while doing my work again, I was recognized by an organization based in the United States, and they gave me the recognition because of the activities, particularly the education that I was involved with. That way, again, at the national level, I joined the national constitutional movement that was advocating for change. and we had a lot of activities and engagement all over this country. I was lucky again to have been a delegate in Boma's conference. And while I was in Boma's conference, again, I got the opportunity now to advocate for the girls, for the women, and for the marginalized communities. It was a forum, a platform that gave me a lot of opportunities in terms of interaction with the different communities, different leadership, people in leadership forums in this country. And again, at Bomas, I was privileged and I was selected to be in the steering committee of Bomas conference. You see, that itself, you know, it's a big thing, eh? So after that, we again, when we completed the Bomas, you know, there was a lot of misunderstanding and conflict. And we had, there was a Bishop Solometi Committee, Consensus Building Committee. Again, I was blessed to be among the Bishop Solometi Committee on Consensus Building. So we started, you know, engaging with the two different groups who had different views on the constitutional making process. So after that, we were not able to reach consensus, and we had the Katiba Watch team, and we had the Wako team. So we went down to the ground, we started mobilizing our teams, we started creating awareness, and there was the bananas and the oranges. I was in the orange team. I was one of the key stakeholder in the region, and on Orange Democratic and the Orange team. And we, for the first time in the history of this country, Northern Kenya had to say no to Wako draft, and I was among the key people who moved the region to vote against the Wako draft. Then after Wako draft, during the referendum, then after Wako draft, I was again blessed by Orange Democratic Movement to have nominated me to the 10th Parliament. In the 10th Parliament, again, I got an exposure and I got a platform where I was able now to interact with the country and my own constituency of Ijara. And in Ijara, and even before coming to Parliament, I had done a lot of work in terms of putting up infrastructure for education, so that I could boost the education of the girls, putting up water facilities, putting up and empowering women, giving grants to women so that they could start their own businesses. And I was able to engage with the religious leaders. We were able to open offices for the religious communities, and we were sponsoring the religious communities, giving them, paying them salaries so that they could be able to help us do our civil work, and for them to continue doing their spiritual affairs. So after that, when I came to Parliament, I was again given an opportunity to chair a Parliamentary committee. I was a chair of Social Affairs Committee, and I was oversighting the Ministry of Gender, and Ministry of Special Programs, and Ministry of, there was about 5 ministries that my committee was oversighting. And that way I was again able to interact largely with the communities all over the country. We were going to see what all those ministries were doing all over the country. And that exposure gave me the capacity of you know, learning from other communities. The learnings and the success stories and practical stories that I got from other society within this country and across borders of this country was something that I took back to my constituency and to my people. And I was able now to work with my community one-on-one. Of course, it did, although the community are now opening up, and they're talking about even people who are in other constituency in the region are talking about my success, particularly winning this seat. and they're saying they're somehow taking that in a negative way, and others who are taking it positively. So those who are taking negatively are more, because even our members of parliament who are here are threatened. There are some women are contesting with them. So the message they take out there is different with my relationship here, inside here. We have even members who are seated here who are my closest friend, but back in the constituency, there are women who are contesting with them. So they see me to be a threat, and that I've opened a door that should not have been opened. And that is a problem. But what I'm telling the women is, because I've struggled for 20 years before I won. So it is not an easy way to win. You must have a thick skin. You'll be told everything. I have never minded what people are calling me, all those names people are calling me. I always felt for you to win or to succeed in any venture, you must go through many hurdles. And those hurdles that I've gone through are hurdles that any leader, including Mandela of South Africa, he has gone through a lot of problems. So I was comparing myself with people who have gone through a lot of problems and a lot of difficulties. I'm a history student, and I like learning and reading about people. So whenever, and I always read about people who have gone through a lot of difficulties. My friend, I will take you back to the 10th Parliament. In the 10th Parliament, I was among the 27 committee who are the framers of the Constitution. I will start from there. And in the where His Excellency the President, the Deputy President, James Orengo, Mudavadi, we were 27, and 7 were women and 20 were men, the committee. And that committee, we had to break and walk out as women one time, because it becomes very difficult when we talk about women and the 2/3. And today, as I am seated here, seeing 47 women who are in Parliament, it was through our initiative, the 7 women who were in that committee. When men told us we will not give free chance for women just to walk in Parliament, we must get a way, a methodology, a method of bringing them in, a formula. So we created that formula of 47 women from the counties. Then we wanted to do similar thing to the National Assembly, but we were not able to get any formula. We thought of where we have 6 constituencies, 2 constituencies to be for women and 4 constituencies for men. Now, which are those 2 constituencies that would be for women? It was very difficult to get it out. We wanted it to be, something that goes round, that this year's rotational. So this year, these 5 years, these 2 constituencies will be for women. Then next, the other 2 constituencies. Then the next 5 years, the other 2 constituencies. But that was very difficult, and nobody was able to buy the rotational constituency for women. So we had to push in the 2/3. So I'm telling you, this thing is very difficult. We cannot do legislation without the goodwill of political leadership, particularly political parties and their principals. Without the principals having goodwill, we will not be able to achieve anything. Without the executive fully and 100% supporting the 2/3 principle, we will not be able to achieve anything in the near future. The only thing that we can achieve is when we have many women who contest. I know resources is an issue for women. I know cultural and the other obstacles that women face in achieving for us to get the 2/3. Even where we have regions that are well-educated, professors, doctors, and still there are traditional challenges. You see a woman who is married from a certain clan, and she comes from a certain clan, her clan will tell her to go to where her husband comes from. Her husband will where her husband will also tell her to go to where she was, her clan's constituency. So it is really, really very difficult for women. And I do not foresee us doing a legislation without the support and the goodwill of the political leadership of this country, particularly the big political parties with the big wins, with the big principles. That is the only time we'll be able to achieve. The rest is a lip service. And I've been the vice chair for a long time, and currently I'm the chair of the Committee of Environment and Natural Resources. Committee of Natural Resources and Environment, we were able to achieve a lot in terms of, climate change is a reality in this country and globally. We were able now to use our platform in terms of issues of climate change, to advocate and to legislate issues of climate change in the House. We were able to do in a big way water programs in this country. And when we saw there were scandals of water programs, we were able to go outside this country. Personally, I'm among the team who went to Morocco to check on the resources Morocco government use to the same dams that we use here. And we found that what Morocco government is using is a third or a quarter of what we are using in our dams in this country. So when we came, we were able to flag out issue of Camoran, and all those water dams that people are using. We went up to the site and we found that there was nothing that was done completely, and money was used, resources was used. So we were asking ourselves, and we came to the House, we explained to the House, we aired it, we went to the ministry, and we engaged with them and we interacted with them. And that's why some of those resources that was about to be lost, we had to influence as a committee to stop and for investigation to take place. So you see, we saved this country billions of shillings that could have gone to waste as a committee. That was one of our biggest achievements as a committee. The other achievement is in terms of environment, in terms of mining. We were able to put laws of environmental impact. We put laws of mining. We were able to put laws on wildlife management. Those are things that were there, but it overstayed, and time could not. We had a lot of new things that were happening in our country and across our countries. So we were able to put amendments in all those laws that we had to have laws that are relevant today. I also sit in the caucus of Children's Caucus, and we have children's amendments that is already there. We have health amendments, which heavily affects the woman. We have many amendments. Everything touches on women. Every law that we make in this House, there is we look at it with an eye or a lens of gender, so that we see what is the benefit for that law in terms of its impact on women and the children, and persons with disability. So that's where we come from as women of this House. Any law that is placed on the top of or is tabled on the floor of the House, we always look at it with gender lens. My advice to the young women of this nation is that a political arena is a very difficult arena, but it's something manageable. You must have the heart, you must have the capacity, you must have the will. Back in your mind, know you are going to a very difficult field, and that field is it needs a lot of patience, it needs a lot of encouragement, it needs a lot of tolerance, it needs a lot of, you know, thick skin. You build thick skin, and it needs you to be courageous enough. It needs you to have the capacity of standing and engaging with the community. Again, I want to tell you that as a young woman, always you'll be related with, you'll be told a lot of, you'll be called a lot of names. Those names are normal for a woman to be called when she goes into political field. Men believe that political arena is only for men. So as women, that is a field that you need to enter in a big way. So I'm encouraging you, come on board. And when you come on board, I always want to see you not to cry on the podiums when you are called names. Never cry in podiums. Never show your weakness in podium. Never show your weakness in front of your constituents. Always have the courage, always be strong, always put a strong and brave face when you're engaging and interacting with the communities. And always keep faith with your Almighty God. Have that faith, that God is with you always. And the Almighty is the person who will show you the straight path. He will guide you when you have that faith in yourself. And when you have faith in the Almighty Allah, you will succeed. That misconception is always there, and that many people have been reduced to poverty. We have had community social support systems long way ago. Like, I come from a very humble background, and being from that humble background, we had a social support system within the society, where the society could support any vulnerable person within the society. These days, we do not have those social support systems, are not within the society. The other thing is, with climate change, there are a lot of disasters that happen in our country and all over the world. In my own constituency, we had a very big, huge wind that blew off all the houses, schools, and everything. Those people, either government could come on board to support them to rebuild the houses, or the social support systems that we had before. We do not have those social support systems. The government did not come handy to support them. We had people who had their decent homes. Today they're homeless. Then came big floods. The floods again washed all the houses, washed all the toilets, washed some of the schools. Now we had to start rebuilding those again. We did not get full support from the government to come on board to rebuild those houses for the community. For the schools that was destroyed, lucky enough we had CDF that rebuilt those schools. But that again made the people to become vulnerable and destitute. Then recently we got the biggest drought in the region. That drought again made the community very vulnerable, because we lost, like my constituency, we lost 80% of the livelihood, the livestock. Today, the number of people who are vulnerable, who have gone back in the, who are destitute, who do not have anything, more than 80% of people in my constituency. And likewise, any other constituency is similar to my constituency. Now what happens? When the child is crying on your lap, you do not have you cannot afford giving that child food on the table. You are forced by circumstance now to go to your MP when you see him, because there are no systems. Yes, we have, government is trying, we have cash transfers, we have all this, but those are dropped in the ocean. Those are dropped in the oceans. We have programs, we have women fund, we have youth fund, we have cash transfers, those are dropped in the ocean. we need to have a Marshall Plan in those regions. We have arable land, we have a river that is passing and wasting the water going to the river, to Indian Ocean, without people using it. You see, you have a Tana River passing in my constituency, in the border of my constituency. And my people and my animals are dying because they cannot access the river. So it becomes a problem. So the government must wake up. They must have a very big Marshall Plan for the pastoralist community, for the dry land issues. You see, equalization fund was there. That equalization fund, since it was introduced for the last 8 years, it has not ever been used. It is lying somewhere. Now, why should money lie somewhere when the people of your country are dying because of hunger, because of lack of water, because of drought affecting them, because flood is affecting them, because climate change and global warming is affecting them? Then we have a responsibility as a nation, as the leadership of this country, to look into different way of dealing with the disasters that we see. As a committee, we have looked into this. We have brought proposals on the floor of the House. We have talked about it. We have said a lot. But we need to have a whole independent directorate for disasters. Disasters is not only for my constituency or northern Kenya. Look at Budalangi with all those floods, destroying and distracting everything. Yeah? So we need to carry the whole country and we move together. Then we will be able to stop all those. If we have those Marshall plans, we have farms, we have irrigations, we have everything in place, then nobody will beg any other person because everybody could be engaged somewhere. These people you see all, they lining up at the gate of the parliament. All these people could be engaged in their own counties, in their own constituency, in their own wards, in their own villages. And as you said, always I have a lot of works in my constituency. My constituency is one of the marginalized constituency, one that has never had a lot of water is a problem, electricity was a problem, roads network was a problem, a lot. So 24 hours I interact with my community in the constituency. Once in a while, I give my family one weekend out of the 4 weekends, and not both days, only one day, where I stay with them, talk with them, and engage with them, give them that chance to talk to me. But even that weekend has become again very difficult for me to give to my family. And so I believe my family is my constituency. Everybody in my constituency is my family. So what I do is whenever I'm not in the constituency and I do either committee work here in Parliament, or we go and do other oversights with the committee out to other places. And if I miss 2 weekends, I feel very sick if I don't go to my constituency, because I feel there's part of me that is missing. So I've really adapted and adhered to engaging and interacting with the people in my constituency. I'm adapted to that. I feel like there's something that I'm missing if I'm not with the people in the constituency.
So this is a job that you love?
It's a job I love, particularly working for the community. It is not always becoming a member of parliament, but this is something that I've done over 30 years, working for my community through the non-governmental organization, through Womankind. Right now I have Sophia Foundation that is registered in the United States of America. And Sophia Foundation is something that we wanted to transform my constituency, do a lot of work with it. But because of security, my board members from the US were not able to come and do a lot in the constituency. The other thing that gave them a challenge was because of COVID-19. When we registered was just beginning of 2000. So you see 2001, all of it, 2021 we had COVID and part of 2020. So because of that we were not able to do a lot of work. But we were able to get resources like hospital equipment, hospital drugs from the US that was shipped to my constituency. That was through Sophia Foundation. The few things that we did with Sophia Foundation during my term now, and like putting up shades, like putting up fence for markets, like helping women groups with resources, and we wanted to do major waterworks with Sophia Foundation, but because of COVID, because of security, we were not able to do that. And now again from I was nominated to join IPU, Parliamentary Interparliamentary Union, and we went to Indonesia recently, and I was elected as one of the 4 standing committees, one of the president of the 4 standing committees. I'm the president of IPU Standing Committee on UN, and that is giving me an opportunity of interaction in a big way. We were able to compare notes with United Nations teams to see our legislative work and their deliverables and what they do for the countries. We were able to interact and go to programs in Indonesia where they are supporting both the government and non-governmental organizations. And we saw a lot of work that the United Nations did in those countries. So we want to go around the world to see and to interact with the United Nations to see what they are doing, so that whatsoever they are doing and how we can boost them with some legislative work, so that we can give them some more capacity for them to handle more work within the regions, be it in Kenya or any other parts of the world. So that also is a responsibility. And let me tell you, members of parliament from Kenya were shining in Indonesia, because we had 4 chairs. Beside standing committee, we had chair on women affairs, we had a chair for youth affairs. Those are not standing committees. We had a chair on peace and humanitarian affairs. You see, all of us, all the 4 members of parliament, 3 members from the National Assembly and 1 from Senate had responsibility. And globally, we are known as a country. So I'm privileged to be a Kenyan.